talking about the jobs of an essay. And one of the things I want to remind you before we get started is that this is set up for a reflective essay. An essay like the one you're about to write. And it'll change a little bit, mostly in the examples section, as we get to be able to use research and that sort of thing. So let's kind of take a look real quickly. The first thing we're looking at is the instructions at the top. You are writing a 5-paragraph essay at first. When our essays get longer, we'll give you a new essay checklist. Okay? Each paragraph has specific jobs to do. We want you to use this checklist to make sure you've taken care of the job. So I actually, when you're writing, you should be saying, have this checklist out and use it as an actual checklist. I have this job done. I've done this job, right? Remember, all paragraphs should be at least 7 to 10 sentences. We want you to aim for 10. In those body paragraphs, you can aim for 12 or 14 because your storytelling is going to make those longer. Your details will make those longer, okay? In your thesis paragraph, you've got 5 basic jobs. In those 5 basic jobs, notice if you did 1 sentence for this one, a clear and direct answer to the question, but you did 3 sentences for this one and 2 for all the others, you'd make that 10 really easily. So this is a little pattern that tells you how to get that development. There are 5 jobs. Even if you just did 2 sentences for each, you'd get to where you needed to go very easily. The first job is raising the subject naturally. If you've been asked a question, you don't want to just say, yes, because, and jump in. You want to bring it up like nobody asked you a question, really. You want to get your reader's attention and set the scene. That means you want to let them know why what you're writing about is important to you. Fake it if you have to, right? If you've got to fake some enthusiasm, this is where to do it. This is probably the most important. This right here, you must give a clear and direct answer to the question you have been asked. In other words, you must state your point or thesis directly. And this is where you have to use key words from the prompt and really understand what the prompt is asking you. For us, the reflective essay is asking you to think about a decision that changed your life. There's 2 points to consider there. 1, a decision, not just an event. It has to be something where you had agency in deciding to do it, okay? Not just something that happened to you. A tornado came and took out my house. That event will change your life, but it's not a decision you made. If we could decide on the weather, we would not have tornadoes, okay? So here you've got to really pay attention to that question. The other thing is it had an effect on your life. That means you're looking back. It's a reflection essay, looking back at what has already happened and reflecting on how that changed your life, right? We're not necessarily looking at the future yet, okay? We're looking at the past. So those are 2 important things to think about when you're revising between your first draft and your second draft. If you're looking forward, you may have to switch things around a little bit. It doesn't mean you have to totally change your topic, but you need to think backwards and reflect, okay? You have to tell the reader how the essay will be organized by mentioning what the reasons and examples will be, what you're going to use. If you're going to tell us a story, maybe foreshadow what the parts of that story are, okay? If you're telling us the 3 things that changed, maybe list those 3 things that changed for us. If you know that you've got 3 examples in this essay, or at least 3 parts to your story, because you've got those 3 body paragraphs required. So if you did 3 sentences for this job, that's a really great opportunity for some paragraph development. If you stick it all in a list in 1 sentence, you've missed an opportunity for paragraph development. And remember to get the reader ready for the first body paragraph. Let's talk about body paragraphs. Write a topic sentence that does these 3 things. Now, this doesn't mean it has to be a long sentence. A transitional phrase can be 1 word, like first. A key word from the topic can just be decide, right? And a key, and then you just tell us exactly what it'll be about, okay? So your topic sentence tells exactly what the paragraph will be about, uses keywords from the prompt, uses transitional phrases, and this is the part that'll change from one genre of essay to another, You tell a detailed story from your own experience that explains your reason or supports it. You're telling us what life was like then and what it's like now and how things have changed. Good. Explain how the story you told proves that your reason is a good one and helps to prove your thesis or your larger point in the essay. Okay? This is really important, and a lot of people skip it. They'll tell that part of the story, but they don't relate it back to how this proves that your life was changed by this decision. So that's a major thing to remember, because I could tell a story and you think, well, okay, but I don't get it. You've got to make sure your audience understands it the way you want them to. You've got to be bossy and push your reader toward the understanding you want them to have. In the concluding paragraph, you need to reflect, again, on what this story should teach us and how the story you've told works. Okay? If you've got 3 different things, make sure you reflect on how they all add up. Right? You should reflect on how well you've proved your initial thesis. So this is restating your thesis with a little bit more confidence. It's also that moment where you do the mind trick and say, you like this essay, this is good. All right. Tell the reader what is at stake if they do not agree with you. And this can be 2 or 3 or even 4 sentences, right? And this is the main place where you can get conclusion paragraph development going, right? By really taking some time to outline what a life is going to be like if they don't make the same good choice you did. Okay? And then lastly, tell your reader what to do or think next. You want to bring it outside your own self and tell us what we should do with the story you've told us. Okay? So this is just a quick rundown of this essay, and we'll go over it again with some new changes when we hit a new genre of essay. Cut.